Safe and reliable weight handling equipment is critical to the operation of the Navy. Each day, the Navy uses its inventory of weight handling equipment to service ships, submarines, aircraft, and shore facilities to support the Navy's worldwide commitment. These weight handling operations take place at hundreds of Navy activities, involving thousands of cranes, thousands of personnel, and tons of rigging gear. Safe performance during these operations is key to eliminating damage to equipment or personnel injury. As a shore activity commanding officer, with all the things you have to take responsibility for, you must also find time for your weight handling program. A program that can include a multitude of equipment, from the many different types of cranes to the rigging gear, portable chain falls and hoists, portable load indicators, below-the-hook lifting devices, and other devices associated with weight handling equipment operations. The management of your weight handling program starts at the top with you, the commanding officer of the activity. You are accountable for all aspects of your weight handling program. This not only includes the selection, training, and safety of program personnel, but the implementation and execution of all program requirements. The Navy provides a manual to assist you with this aspect of your organization. WHP4CO1, Management of Weight Handling Equipment, provides details and instructions for the program and management of all Navy shore-based weight handling equipment. To support this tasking, a team of qualified individuals will be needed to assist in managing your program. First is the optional designation of an individual or organization within your command to manage your weight handling program. Otherwise, you are the weight handling program manager. This can be done by letter and name, or it can be accomplished by way of position description. Second, and just as important, is the assignment of a certifying official. Often, this is the same person who manages your weight handling program. Certifying officials and their alternates are designated in writing by you and are responsible for ensuring your activity's cranes are inspected and tested in accordance with a requirement of WHP4CO1, and that the cranes are safe to use for their intended purpose. Certifying officials may also be designated by position or title or via command or regional instruction. The certifying official, in turn, designates in writing the authorized test directors and condition inspectors involved in the crane certification process. You will also need to designate in writing an official and organization that will be responsible for the instructing, examination, and licensing of crane operators. Again, at smaller activities, this may be the weight handling program manager or certifying official. This person then designates in writing the instructors, performance examiners, and license issuing officials. Remaining positions for engineering, maintenance, and operations are filled through normal staffing functions. If your activity obtains weight handling program services from other activities or contractors, you shall designate in writing the contractor or Navy organization responsible and the services provided. This is in lieu of the specific personnel discussed earlier. It is through your team that you ensure the maintenance, alteration, repair, testing, certification, and operation of weight handling equipment at your activity is conducted safely and in accordance with WHP4CO1 requirements. Regardless of whether these services are provided in-house, contracted out, or provided by agreement with another Navy activity, personnel involved in the maintenance, alteration, repair, inspection, testing, and operation of weight handling equipment shall be trained and qualified to perform their assigned duties. WHP4CO1 provides minimum training and qualification requirements for program personnel. With well-trained and informed program personnel in place, a codified functional organization structure should be established to formally and clearly delineate roles, responsibilities, administrative processes, and chain of command. Your weight handling program organization, with its processes and procedures, are the main ingredients in successfully reducing accidents and improving safety at your activity. Weight handling safety also extends to host activity commanding officers, who must ensure the safety of contractor cranes entering their base, and ensure contractor cranes and crane operations meet applicable OSHA requirements, ASME B30 standards, and crane industry standards. In foreign countries, contractor cranes shall meet appropriate host country requirements. Most crane accidents result from personnel error. Crane accidents can be spectacular, such as this crane boom free fall. Cranes have been known to topple from the decks of aircraft carriers, overturn while traveling, and tip over because the outriggers were not fully extended. Tube blocking has been the cause of several fatalities at Navy shore activities. Many crane accidents occur due to unplanned contact between the load, crane, or other objects with no substantial damage or injuries. Some have resulted in serious injuries or fatalities. Many are costly in terms of equipment damage. All have an effect on the Navy's mission and the efficiency of your command. Near misses are often signs of what might happen if we let the same mistake happen again. Near misses with cranes are often just catastrophes that didn't happen because we were fortunate. To improve crane safety, there is a program in place that addresses the operation and safety of Navy weight handling equipment operations. SecNav Instruction 11260.2 provides for a uniform Navy program for maintenance, inspection, testing, certification, and operation of Navy-owned weight handling equipment and related equipment at Navy shore activities. As a component of the Naval Facilities Engineering Command, the Navy Crane Center is tasked with program direction and oversight responsibility. The Navy Crane Center provides expertise to the Navy's shore activity weight handling program and assists in providing engineering, acquisition, technical support, training, and evaluation services. As a commanding officer of a shore activity, you are responsible for all weight handling operations within your command. What do these responsibilities entail? You need to develop and maintain an effective weight handling program in accordance with the policies and directives issued by the Navy Crane Center. This means your command should have written procedures for management of your activity's weight handling program. Among other things, these procedures should outline how to properly maintain equipment and train weight handling personnel, and how to comply with all weight handling equipment program documentation and reporting requirements, as well as crane safety advisories and equipment deficiency memorandums. So how do you, as a shore activity commanding officer, carry out a weight handling program? WHP4CO1, Management of Weight Handling Equipment, prescribes the requirements for ensuring safe and efficient weight handling equipment operations and to ensure optimum equipment service life. It provides the administrative and technical criteria for maintenance, inspection, testing, certification of cranes, the alteration of cranes, the licensing procedures for crane operators and the training of all other personnel, the safe operation of cranes, and the documentation requirements. Essentially, the four critical elements of the Navy's crane program are equipment condition, safe operation, training, and documentation. Weight handling equipment consists of cranes, rigging gear, and associated equipment. Cranes fall into four different categories. Common Category 1 cranes include portal cranes. These have a rotating superstructure and are given their name because of the portal between the gantry legs, allowing traffic to pass beneath. Hammerhead cranes. These are equipped with a counterbalanced cantilever boom and a trolley running the length of the boom. Floating cranes. As the name implies, these are mounted on a floating base, such as a barge, pontoon, or hull. By far the most common type of Category 1 cranes are mobile cranes. These include a variety of crawler and cruiser type cranes, truck cranes, and warehouse or industrial cranes. These cranes have rotating superstructures and may have either fixed booms or telescoping booms. Mobile cranes have unique hazards not common to other types of cranes. Category 2 cranes are bridge, gantry, wall and jib cranes, monorails, and overhead hoists with rated capacities of 20,000 pounds or greater. Category 3 cranes are similar to Category 2 cranes but with rated capacities less than 20,000 pounds. Common examples of Category 4 cranes are commercial truck-mounted cranes. These cranes are normally attached to delivery vehicles. Booms on these cranes can be fixed length, articulating, or telescoping. Certification is the process of approving weight handling equipment for use by a certifying official through inspection, test, and proper documentation. Condition inspections and load tests are parts of the certification process. The purpose of the condition inspection is to ensure the structural, mechanical, and electrical components of the equipment have been maintained in a safe and serviceable condition and are functioning properly. The purpose of the load test is to ensure by controlled operation with prescribed test loads that the equipment is capable of safely lifting and moving the rated load through all design motions. The successful completion of this process results in the issuance of a certification of load test and condition inspection. A crane cannot be used in service without a valid certification. An additional certification, known as a third-party certification, is required for cranes, derricks, and certain other devices used in cargo transfer and for floating cranes and floating derricks used in shipbuilding, ship repair, and ship breaking. The certification is automatically void after 1 year, after exceeding the certified capacity during operation, or after an adjustment, repair, disassembly, replacement, or alteration of a load-bearing part, load-controlling part, or operational safety device which requires a load test for verification of satisfactory work. It is important your activity develop as part of the weight handling program, a maintenance inspection program with frequencies and detail as outlined in NAVFAC P307. Maintenance inspections vary according to the category of crane. Maintenance inspections of components and parts are detailed in NAVFAC P307 and are conducted through sight, sound, touch, and, when necessary, instrumentation, as prescribed in NAVFAC P307. In addition to the maintenance inspections, activities must develop instructions and schedules for normal lubrication and servicing of this equipment. For obvious reasons, any change in the original equipment manufacturer's design configuration could create safety concerns. Therefore, alterations to cranes that affect load-bearing, load-controlling components, or operational safety devices require prior Navy Crane Center approval. Your weight handling program must also include proper management of your rigging gear. At a minimum, this should address the maintenance, inspection, testing, and use of rigging gear, and the operational responsibilities of the riggers. Rigging gear must be given load tests and physical inspections. This requirement applies to both Navy-owned equipment and contractor-owned equipment used with Navy-owned cranes. All inspections and tests must be documented, and equipment must be clearly marked in a manner that identifies its rated load and the re-inspection due date. Rigging equipment includes all items used to connect a load to a crane or to move a load in rigging operations without the use of a crane. Slings include chain slings, wire rope slings, metal mesh slings, synthetic round slings, synthetic rope slings, and synthetic webbing slings. Rigging equipment also includes gear such as shackles, links, rings, eye bolts, turnbuckles, and swivel hoist rings, tackle blocks used for a mechanical advantage, below the hook lifting devices such as container spreaders, spreader beams, and lifting magnets, and portable load indicating devices such as dynamometers, load cells, and crane scales. Finally, portable hoists, portable floor cranes, portable gantries, and chain falls are included in the Navy's weight handling program. Equally important to equipment condition is the safe operation of the equipment. Part of a good weight handling program is the stressing of effective teamwork. The operators, riggers, and crane walkers working together. Crane operation safety is the result of effective teamwork among these individuals. A typical crane team for a mobile crane operation consists of the rigger in charge, crane operator, and crane riggers. Each has specifically defined responsibilities. The rigging supervisor designates the rigger in charge, who is the team leader. The rigger in charge has overall control of the operation and coordinates the activities of the other crane team members. The crane operator is responsible for the safe operation of the crane, performing a pre-use check of the crane at the start of the shift, fully understanding the lift prior to starting, and maintaining communication with the signal person throughout the operation. The crane rigger is responsible for carrying out assignments from the rigger in charge or the rigger supervisor, including assisting the operator in the pre-use inspection of the crane, proper gear selection and inspection prior to use, and safe rigging of the load. In addition, portal crane operations commonly use a crane walker to ensure the safe travel of the crane by being in a position to observe and warn the operator of potential problems or hazards during crane travel. As you saw earlier, crane accidents take a heavy toll. Most accidents are the result of a crane team member performing an unsafe action, or a crane team member failing to perform a safe action. It is the responsibility of any team member to halt the operation if a potential unsafe condition is found. Each team member's responsibility is magnified with the increased level of risk involved in a lift. Complex lifts are those with a moderate to high level of risk. Examples would be lifts of hazardous materials, lifts of large and complex shapes, lifts of personnel, lifts exceeding 80% of the capacity of the crane's hoist planned for use, lifts of submerged or partially submerged objects, multiple crane lifts or multiple hook lifts on the same crane, lifts of unusually expensive or one-of-a-kind equipment or components, lifts of constrained or potentially constrained loads, and other lifts involving non-routine operations, difficult operations, sensitive equipment, or unusual safety risks. Activities must identify complex lifts and prepare procedures for conducting these lifts. A rigger supervisor, operator supervisor, or a work leader must review on-site conditions and conduct a separate pre-job briefing before each complex lift, and personally supervise lifts exceeding 80% of the certified capacity of the crane's hoist used for the lift and lifts of ordnance involving the use of tilt fixtures. Good communications among the crane team are essential for obvious reasons. The operator must stop the lift if this communication is lost. Whether it is lost communication or any number of other contributing factors, accidents and incidents can happen. To help focus attention on risk mitigation and the reduction of daily distractions, the Navy Crane Center provides a wide aperture accident definition that covers a broad scope of events that typical industry standards do not address. What isn't reported as a crane or rigging gear accident should be reported as a near miss or unplanned event. This starts with an understanding of the operating envelope. Equipment, people, and the load, the operating envelope. Inside the crane envelope are the following elements: the crane, the operator, the riggers and crane walker, any other personnel involved in the operation, the rigging gear between the hook and the load, the crane's supporting structure, and the lift procedure. A crane accident occurs when any of the elements in the operating envelope fails to perform correctly during operation, including operation during maintenance or testing, resulting in the following: personnel injury or death, material or equipment damage, dropped load, derailment, tube blocking, overload, or collision, including any unplanned contact between the load, crane, and/or other objects. To define a rigging gear accident, it is assumed there is an operating envelope around any rigging operation, and inside the envelope are the following: rigging gear and miscellaneous equipment covered by Section 14, the user of the gear or equipment, other personnel involved in the operation, the load, the gear or equipment supporting structure, the load's rigging path, and the rigging procedure. A rigging gear accident occurs when any of the elements in the operating envelope fails to perform correctly during weight handling operations, resulting in the following: personnel injury or death, material or equipment damage, dropped load, tube blocking, or overload. Accidents occurring when construction equipment, material handling equipment, or multi-purpose machines are used to lift suspended loads shall be reported to NCC. NAVFAC P307 defines the actions to be taken upon having an accident or seeing evidence of an accident and the procedures for notification, investigation, and documentation of an accident. NAVFAC P307 establishes training and qualification requirements for all personnel involved in the Navy's weight handling program. All Navy personnel who operate Category 1, Category 2, cab-operated Category 3 cranes, and Category 4 cranes must be licensed. In order to obtain a license, a candidate must be thoroughly trained on the operation of the type of crane for which the license is to be issued. Contractor personnel who operate Navy-owned weight handling equipment are held to the same standards and must be certified by the contractor with documentation provided to the contracting officer. In addition to the requirements for licensed operators, personnel who rig, maintain, inspect, and test weight handling equipment are required to receive formal training and be qualified. This includes the mechanics and electricians who maintain and repair the equipment, the inspectors who oversee the structural, mechanical, and electrical work performed on the equipment, the load test directors, the riggers, and the operators of Category 3 cranes. NAVFAC P307 requires an individual equipment history file for each crane within your activity. This file includes maintenance inspection specification and records, crane operator daily checklists, shop repair orders or other work documents, non-destructive test reports, crane condition inspection records, certification of load test and condition inspections, and additional information as noted in NAVFAC P307, Section 5, Table 5-1. These records may be requested by the Navy Crane Center, other DoD inspectors, or OSHA. As directed by SECNAV Instruction 11260.2, the Navy Crane Center also has the responsibility for periodically auditing Navy shore activities to ensure compliance with weight handling equipment requirements. The Navy Crane Center provides in-depth reviews of program management functions, activities, and processes during its periodic reviews. This is done on a 1 or 2 year cycle. For those activities involved in critical weight handling operations, high-tempo operations in congested areas, or lifts requiring a high degree of reliability, an annual audit is performed. Management processes and controls should be frequently reviewed and monitored at the local level for continuous incremental improvement. Whether it's an accident, near miss, program or process problem, All concerns should invoke actions that include investigation, identification, measures to preclude recurrence, lessons learned, and training. In this manner, when it's time to conduct your periodic weight handling equipment self-assessment, most, if not all, necessary information will be readily available. This includes trending metrics for recently identified concerns and actions, and items and actions identified in previous audits. Where inadequacies are found, the Navy Crane Center directs corrective action. However, relying on external oversight to identify internal problem areas is a symptom of a weak, unorganized, non-priority program. A mature, healthy weight handling program is built upon transparency, trust, and empowerment, has the ability to examine itself honestly, and prioritizes safety through team-oriented involvement and action. All personnel involved in the program, from top management to the deck plate, must be encouraged to become openly and actively involved in making the program as safe as possible. This includes anyone with the ability to recognize a potential problem area concerning equipment, lift operations, maintenance, program management, processes, or procedures. As with any ORM program, hazards and potential hazards must be identified and eliminated or mitigated. Graphically, such a culture might look like this. This type of culture encourages a hazard analysis program that is more proactive and less reactive. In other words, find it before it finds you. In the context of weight handling program safety and loss prevention, the triangle looks more like this. This triangle not only provides guidance and focus, but can be used to gauge the health and culture of your weight handling program. Healthy, proactive programs operate in the green zone. You want to be here. Programs in a reactionary mode, constantly fight fires, are in the yellow zone. Out-of-control programs operating in the red zone are unhealthy, potentially dangerous, and in jeopardy of experiencing a catastrophic event. With this in mind, the weight handling program triangle can be expanded to illustrate how you and your team may improve safety as well as performance. Day-to-day distractions can creep into your processes and operations. If ignored, they may continue to build. These smaller, more avoidable events can align or group together with other events, affording the potential for more significant events. As more and more unidentified events accumulate, group, and grow, the potential for an event of greater significance increases. Inevitably, an unmitigated, unhealthy program operating in the red zone dramatically increases its chances of a catastrophic event in the form of equipment failure, injury, or loss of life. Conversely, the more low-level distractions that are identified, mitigated, and eliminated, the less likely a higher-level event will occur. A healthy weight handling program knows that minor events, such as near misses, must be reported and acted upon. This enables early intervention, provides greater opportunity to improve safety and efficient performance, and reduces the chances for significant and catastrophic issues. Effective corrective actions address the root causes of an event, not the event itself. Not all corrective actions are effective, and their ineffectiveness needs to be recognized. Ineffective corrective actions allow problems to recycle. Cultivate a healthy and safe weight handling program. Focus your team's attention on the green zone. Encourage a culture of proactive identification and mitigation of minor deficiencies. Shore activities rely on safe weight handling equipment every day to service ships and their facilities. Failures with weight handling equipment and operations can have serious consequences, as equipment must be removed from service and operations suspended until the deficiencies are corrected. Weight handling accidents can be devastating. This impacts directly on the Navy's mission. Your goal is to ensure all Navy and contractor personnel operating Navy-owned cranes at your activity are held to the same accountable standards. You must focus the appropriate attention and provide the required resources to achieve a fully compliant weight handling program. Reducing the accident rate must remain a strong command focus. The Navy Crane Center is a resource for you. Our mission is safe and reliable weight handling programs throughout the Navy. For more information, please visit us on the web